received the great support from the nation and became the Prime Minister.
大胆な金融政策には大変な批判があり
We
まし
had a very brave
た。しかし、総選挙で
financial reform.
勝利したか
We
ら
make
こ
a
そ
very big stride.
実行に移すことができた。
It was our victory in the election, and we
日本経済の停滞を
realized
打
our promise in the
マイナスから
election campaign, and
破成長へ
we
と
have
大
already
きく
pushed
転換す
the
ることができました。
economy moving to the positive
今
direction
日本経済は11年ぶ
greatly.
りとなる
Right now, the,
6四半期連続の
with 11
プラス成
years
長、内需主導の力強い
efforts,
経済
the
成長が
Japanese
実
economy
現しています。
realized the
雇用は
positive growth.
200万人近く増加し、
This is a very
この春
big progress.
大学を
And we
卒業し
also
た
have
皆さんの
2 million
就職率は過去最高です。
employees.
正規雇用は
This is the newly
79
added
万人
number, so we reach a very high number
正社
in
員の
employment rate.
有効求人倍率は調査開始以来初めて1倍
And
を超えました。
also the companies start to hire more
正社
employees.
員になりたい人がいれば
All of these help us
必ず
to reach a very high speed of growth,
正社員の仕事があ
to
る。
become
この
a employee in the company, which means they will get a lifelong guarantees.
ようやくここまで来ることができました。
All of these
今
are
こそ
proof that a great result
最
led
大の
by
壁に
the Abe
チャレンジするときで
economies.
す。
Right now, we're facing a
急速に
great challenges.
少子高齢化が進むこの国がこれか
We
らも本
have
当に
to settle it as soon as possible because we are facing
この漠然とした不安にしっか
aging
り
population issues.
答えを
We need to
出してまいり
find
ます
a way out to solve this
それ
problem.
は生産性革
We
命
need
そ
to
し
make
て
a quick
人づくり
response
革命であります。
to the aging
この
population,
2つの
and we need
大
to
改革は
start
アベノミクス最大の
the
勝負です。
manufacturing revolution.
国民の皆様の支持をいただき新しい
So this is
経済政策パッケージを
will finally
年内に
decide whether we
取りまと
win
める
or not.
考え
We
で
need to achieve
4年連続
the
の
great
賃金アップの
breakthroughs
流
by the
れを
end of this year.
さらに力強く
We need to raise the
持続的なものと
wages. We need to keep
その
this
ためには
momentum.
生産性を高めていくことが必要です。
To increase the
ロボット
productivity.
IoT、
That's
人工知能、生
our
産性
top
を劇的
priority.
に押し上げる
AI,
最先
robots,
端のイノベーション
all
が
of this advanced
今
technology can help us to
世界を
achieve our
一
goals.
変させようとしていま
We
す。
need to make
この
innovation
生
in
産性革命
technologies.
を我が国が
We also
リード
need
すること
to
こそ
be in line
次
with
なる
the cutting
成
edge
長戦略
technology
の
around
最
the
大の
world.
柱であり
We
ま
need to lead
す。
the
2020
revolution.
年度までの
This
3年
is
間を
on the top of
生産性
our
革命
schedule.
集中投資期間
So in the coming 3 years, we have
中小
to achieve our
小
goals
規模事業も含め企業による設備や人
for
材への投資を
small
力強く
size businesses.
大胆な
The investment in
予算
terms of
規制改革
capitals as well as human resources need to be
あらゆる
strengthened.
施策を総動
So all
員
of
して
these
まいります。
Is for further
生産性を押し上げ
the
今年より
productivity.
来年
So this is our
来年よ
main
り再来年
target
皆さんの所得
as
を
well as key
大きく
jobs
増やしていく
for this year
デフレ脱
and
却への
next
スピ
year.
ードを
And next year we also need
最
to
大限まで
think
加
of
速してまいります。
directions for the coming futures.
もう一つの最大の柱は人づくり革命です。
We need to further minimize the negative
無限の可能
influence
性が眠っています。
by deflation.
家庭に
And we
育
will
っても
also put pledges to spend on education and child
大
care.
学に進学で
Education
き
is
る社
very
会へと
important.
改革す
Primary
る
school, secondary school,
所得が低い家庭の子どもたち
let them
必要な子どもたち
really
に限
receive
っ
the
て
tangible
高等教育の無償化を必ず実現する
So we need to
決意です。
further put
授業料の
increase the proportion of revenue spent
の拡充と合わ
on
せ
education.
必要な生活費をすべて賄
And on
え
the
るよ
other
う
hand, we need to further increase
給付型奨学金の
our domestic demand
給額を大幅に増やします。
and make sure we have the money on hand to raise the families, to take care about our next generations, to give them an enabling environment, for let them go to schools, to receive education, and let them can find jobs after graduate. This is our fundamental revolution. We need to give answers to the university reforms.
幼児教育の無償化も一気に進みます。2020年度までに3歳から5
By
歳まで
2020,
すべての子どもたちの
the
幼稚園や
education
保育
for
園の
the
費用を
kids from 3 to 5 years old, we need to
0
provide
歳から2歳児も所得の低い
the
世帯で
free
は
tuitions for them to entering into the kindergartens. And for people with low salaries, we need to
安倍
give
内
them
閣の
extra
決意
support.
は揺らぎません。本年6月に策定し
This
た
is our policies
子育て安心プランを前倒しし
conducted by the
2020
cabinet.
年度までに
This June, we'll also
32万人分
initiate
の受け皿整備を進めます。
policies to
2020年
provide
初頭までに
the social welfare
50
to
万人分の
320,000 people. And this number will increase to
最大の課
500,000.
題は介護人材の確保です。これまで自公
Right
政
now,
権
the
で
issue is we not have enough
4万
people
7000円の改善を実現してきましたが、
in
他の産業との
nursing
賃金格
sectors.
差をなくしていくため、さらなる処遇改善を進めます。
We also witnessed a big increase
介護、
in
現役世
people's
代が
salaries.
直面するこの2つの
And also we further
大きな
increase the
不安
food
の解消
safety.
に大胆に政策
People
資源を
just living
投
under
入すること
big
で我が国の
uncertainties.
社会保障制度
We
を
need to increase their
全世代
confidence
型へと
by giving them
大きく
better social
転
welfare
換します。急速に少子高齢化が進む中、国民の皆様の支持を得て、今実行しなけ
as
れば
we're saying,
なら
the
ない。
aging population
そう
is
決意しました。
increasing. We need to prepare everything to tackle this issue. This is
新たな政策を
we are very
実施することで、こ
decisive
の大
decisive
改革を
to solve
成し
these
遂げてまいりま
issues.
す。
We
しかしその
invest
知恵を未来の世
2
代に
trillion to
回
solve
すような
these
ことが
issues.
あってはならない。人づくり革命を力強く進めていくためには、
So education for the next generations
再来年10月に予定される
is on our top
消
agenda
費税率
to provide a
10%
safer and secured environment to all the people in
活用
Japan.
しなければ
And we will also further increase the sales tax to 10% in 2019.
2%
This
の
is
引き上げにより
my decision for the
5兆円
future.
強の税収
By increasing 2% in sales
現
tax,
在の予定ではこの税収の5分の1だけを社会保障の充実に使い、
we will receive the tax revenue and we will take 1/5 of it into the social safety
使うこと
nets.
となっています。この考え方は消費
And we
税
will
を
further
5%
decrease
か
the
ら
national debt.
10% へと引き上げる際の前提で
Our
あり、
policy is consistent.
国民の皆様に
Increase the sales taxes from 5% to 8% to 10%.
この消費税の使い道を私は思い
Doing
切って
this, we
変えたい。子育て世
meet
代へ
the
の投資
words
と
we promise
社
to
会保障の
the
安
Japanese
定化
people.
とにバランスよく充当し、
We want to
合わせて
help
財政再建も
the younger
確実に
generation.
実現する。
We want to make
そ
the
うした道を
Japanese environment more stable and secured. This is the
増税
way
分の増税分を借
and
金
the
の
path
返
we
済ば
want
か
to
りでなく、
achieve in the future.
少子化対策などの歳出により多く回すことで、3年前の
It's not just
8% に
we want to
引き上
get
げた時
actual
のような
revenue to pay back
景気への
the debt.
悪影響も軽減できます。他方で、2020年度のプ
We
ライマ
have
リーバラン
already
ス
witnessed
長時間目標の達成は
increasing to 8% in sales tax really bring the benefit to the society. And we also want to reach the target of putting the budget in the black. We know it's very challenging, but we will never give up. We want to strike the primary balance in the budget. We will further conduct our reforms to reach our goal. And we will release more concrete policies in this regard. Under the context of lower birth rate and larging population in aging, we will also bring more policies and strategies in this regard. We walk the talk. We will also respect the Japanese people's willingness by how to spend the tax revenues. And we will further receive the support from the Japanese people. We are very decisive to meet our goals. On September 28th, we decide to dissolve the chamber. And the nuclear and the missile tests conducted by DPRK bring more concerns and uncertainties to Japan. So the Japanese government, we need to think our solutions. And we will do whatever we can to take actions to safeguard people's life and properties in Japan. This is our responsibilities. We are a democratic party. We will never ever be threatened by DPRK. At this crucial time, I decide to start the snap election. And through the election, we will examine our policies targeting DPRK and receive wide support in Japan. The nuclear and missile program conducted by DPRK and the criminal threat by DPRK, that's a real situation. Under this environment, we need to lay a solid foundation, as well as working with the United States, ROK, China, Russia, India. We need to maintain good relations with all these countries. And we will also impose further strict policies on exports. And we are doing it now. We will fulfill our commitment. We will never change our policies in this regard. We will work together with the international committees to further conduct the sanctions to DPRK. And elections can help us in this regard. As long as DPRK choose the right path, it will also help them to increase their economy. But if they keep doing the nuclear and missile program, then that is not the right way toward the bright future. Our policies to DPRK should be revealed. And we should give the pressure to DPRK. We need to increase the pressure, and we need to think the solutions and take actions. And the people in Japan, as well us around the world. We don't want to see DPRK on the wrong path. We're not just for the sake of conversation to conduct conversation. We don't want to do any lip service. In the past 20 years, Japan as well as international communities, we conducted 6 party talks. We did a lot of efforts to embrace DPRK, but DPRK ignored us. They promised they will stop the nuclear and missile program, but they didn't put their words into the practice. They continue to do the nuclear program. We spend a lot of time and effort in this regard, but we think we were utilized by DPRK. DPRK is doing whatever they can by using whatever they have to continue their nuclear and missile program. We want DPRK to give up their program. If they not accept our suggestions, then we will do whatever we can, whatever we have to force them to stop. This is the only way out. And we also ask for the support around the world to let DPRK feel the pressure. We cannot just be an audience to look at the situation going worse. So for the election, we want to garner the support by the Japanese people, and will be very strong to DPRK. And to the scandals, I'm not running away from it. I understand that discontent by the nation. I understand. I also learn from it. I answer the questions in this regard. And for the snap election, I embrace and open-minded to all the criticism. And I also want to use this snap election to examine myself. I'm fully prepared. But if I did not earn the high trust by the people in Japan, we will never conduct this wide-range reform. And we will also want to use very active foreign policies. So as long as we receive the great support in Japan, then we will conduct the reforms and also take more actions in the international arena. We are facing the grave challenges within and outside Japan. We need to have very, very strong leadership. I'm at the front line, facing all the people in Japan. I should fulfill full responsibilities as Prime Minister. This is my mission as a Prime Minister. We know this is very hard in snap election, but I'm ready to bring the people in Japan towards a bright future. I'm ready to listen to the voice in Japan. By disbanding the chamber, we prepared ourselves to solve the issues such as aging population, low birth rate, way to solve the DPRK issues. We have to surpass all the difficulties. we hand in hand with all the people in Japan to fight for the battle till the end. This is all. Thank you.
And there you heard the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe in Tokyo giving a news conference announcing a snap election for next month, saying the lower house will be dissolved on September 28th. He talked quite a bit about the DPRK and the possible threat that brings to his country, as well as several other issues facing Japan and the Japanese government, among them a rapidly aging population, education issues, as well as cutting the national debt. Joining me in the studio is Tung-Jin Chun, Director of the American Studies Department at the China Institute of International Studies. He was listening to Shinzo Abe's news conference, talked about a number of issues, as I mentioned. What is the decision behind, what's the thought behind Abe's decision to dissolve the lower house and hold this snap election?
If you look at the address by Shinzo Abe, you can find some very specific points. For example, he highly appreciated his achievements in economic reform and development, including education, employment, and also the reduction of tariffs in Japan. And this is a continuation to appreciate himself for the support from the public and for some specific groups of interest in Japan. And I think he succeeded in this regard. Another point is the exaggeration of the threat of the DPRK. And he used long paragraphs to describe the threat from that country, especially in missile and nuclear technology. No one can deny a DPRK nuclear and missile program is a direct and real threat to Japan, to all the neighboring countries in Northeast Asia. But I think behind the exaggeration of such a threat, Shinzo Abe continued to manipulate the threat for the support from the public, because if there is a threat, of course the Japanese will be 100% or give strong support to Shinzo Abe to have some revision in security acts and security constitution. So this is actually a continuation for Shinzo Abe to manipulate the threat of DPRK.
And of course we have seen the Prime Minister's approval rating increase from as low as 40%, increasing closer to 50% amid the threat from the DPRK. What's the likelihood of him winning this election next month?
I think he will continue what he has done in recent 5 years, for example, to carry out in-depth economic reform, for example, 3 arrows as he announced for the economic development of Japan. And also to manipulate the threat from China, from DPRK, to have more allocation of resources to expand the self-defense forces in Japan. So I think he is very confident in this regard, because the opposition parties are very weak at this moment, especially in the Diet. So I think he can win the snap election, and he will continue to the policy by himself, and he will carry out several reform. I don't think any significant reform, because the contradictions among different groups of interest in Japan have already gave some strong response to the reforms by the Prime Minister. But I think he will succeed. I don't think he can go any further in the domestic reforms, but he will continue to manipulate the international so-called threat from his neighboring countries. And this is a very short-sighted strategy by Shinzo Abe. In the past 20 years before Shinzo Abe became the Prime Minister this time, 20 years, 20 Prime Ministers. So the political stability actually gave Shinzo Abe a good opportunity to carry out such reform. But I think if he does not change his policy towards neighboring countries, toward China, toward ROK, his international policy will not be a successful one.
Well, of course, he brought up a number of issues, as I mentioned, the aging population, cutting the national debt. He mentioned the need for social safety nets and raising the sales tax to pay for that. And the need for the government to handle these issues. Do you think that he will be able to do that if he does win the election?
Actually, all these issues have already been on the agenda of Shinzo Abe's cabinet. But if you look at the recent 5 years, you can find the little progress in these areas. For example, the reduction of the tariffs and other reforms did not give any significant change of the society, and the public, especially the citizens of Japan, the ordinary people, I mean, are not satisfied with these policies. But just because of the lack of a strong opposition parties, so Shinzo Abe at this moment even enjoy very low support from the public, but he is only a choice for the Japanese people to be the Prime Minister of Japan.
And if he wins the snap election, what do you think will it mean for both Japan and the Asia-Pacific region?
I think Shinzo Abe first will continue to be the Prime Minister of Japan, and he will continue the policy carried out in recent 5 years. For example, domestically speaking, he will carry out some reform, as he mentioned just now, but I don't think he will give any significant reform just because of the challenges, the difficulties he's facing now, including the political reorganization in Japan. And internationally speaking, I think he's still facing some challenge. Of course, he said he succeeded in several areas, including the enhancement of relations between Japan and India, between Japan and ASEAN countries. But how about Sino-Japanese relations? We are going to commemorating the 45 years of the normalization of relations between the two countries. If the two major countries in Asia could not have a good and stable relations in politics and in economy, I think this is a real challenge for him.
All right, Tung-Jin Chun from the American Studies Department at the China Institute of International Studies. Thanks for being with us today. And thank you for watching The World Today. I'm Rachel Rubel in Beijing. That's all for now. I'll see you later.